Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Poke TCG Perez. This is a brand new channel that I'm trying out, namely just because I've been having some pretty good success lately at tournaments, and I know that people such as myself enjoy the content and of strategy and Pokemon TCG. So without further ado, I'd like to share a list that I have not seen anywhere else. I really like it. It's really strong. It has a lot of outs, and it actually won a tournament for me. I went undefeated. Nobody expected it, and I think it's a pretty good meta call. And I will explain the in and outs of this deck today to you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy. This deck is a Ho-Oh Silvally deck, and it uses some cards as text, and I'm going to go through it. I'm sorry that the camera is shaky, but nonetheless it doesn't matter because the content that I'm about to share is pretty good. Alright, so the main attacker for this deck is actually Ho-Oh. In this deck we actually run 3 Ho-Oh, and so as you can see here, Ho-Oh is 3, you run 3 of them. Really good attacker. The reason why I like it is because it's got pretty good attacks. It's got great HP of 190. I think that anything that is less than 190 right now is it's pretty dangerous to play, just because 180 seems to be the target that most people hit, and also the fact that this is not a water weakness is pretty good. This card actually won me a Buzzwole. I was up against Buzzwole, and this card easily took it. That has to do a lot with the relevant resistance right now of fighting. Electric is not really meta at the moment. I know there was a Raichu Heatmore deck around, but that deck doesn't even attack. So yeah, this attacker is really good. The 190 HP is really good. The attack of a base 180 is really good. I do play one Volcanion that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. So 180 plus a choice band, that's 210, which pretty much you're KOing all stage 1 GXs. And with a choice band and then with one steam up, you're doing 240. So 240 knocks out everything in the format that is a tank. I'm talking about Metagross, talking about Solgaleo, and also talking about well, Decidueye you would also knock it out because of the weakness. So everything that Ho-Oh needs to knock out, you're one-hit KOing, and it's not very hard to do. So for that reason, Ho-Oh is the main attacker, great attacker. And the Phoenix Burn, it only says that this Pokemon can't attack next turn, but we've got an answer for that too. And that transitions us into our next attacker, and this is Silvally. I also play a generous line of 3-3, and the reason why I play 3-3 is because I want to guarantee myself that gyro unit ability. Again, Ho-Oh for 180, you're attacking. Then with gyro unit, you can switch out, and then you can Guzma right back in. That's an awesome play. I did that a lot. Also, Silvally has the memory cards. So this deck was mainly built to counter Golisopod Zoroark, and this deck does a really good job of that. You're hitting for weakness on both ends. So you have the answer to that deck 100%. I know that some people were playing the Volcanion Silvally deck, but I think that this deck is superior. And I actually went against a Volcanion deck, and I absolutely smoked it. What else? So yeah, Silvally actually isn't a shabby attacker either. You're doing 120 with Turbo Drive, and you also have energy acceleration. And that GX attack, I actually used it 1 out of the 4 times that we played, and it was very relevant. It was perfect. My opponent almost didn't expect it because they loaded up their bench, and it was awesome. I was able to take out a Buzzwole actually with it as well. Moving on. Support. Obviously, you have to play Lele. How many? I only actually ran 2. The reason for this is because, again, you want to get these guys out, and Tapu Lele is kind of, in my eyes, a liability to some extent. So if I don't have to use it first turn or earlier, that's great. I would rather use it more in the late game as I have control of the game because, again, Ho-Oh sets up quickly, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but we're going to move on for now. And we're going to circle back and talk about these cards when I talk about the other cards that I included. I teched in 1 Turtonator. Turtonator is another 190 HP Pokemon. It takes a beating. It does really well. Shell Trap, in theory, is really good, but I didn't even have to use it. I did use 1 Bright Flame, but that was pretty much once the game was already kind of secure. It was really more of an insurance, not that I needed it. The real reason you play this deck is for Nitro Tank GX. You get to get 5 energy cards, 5 fire energy cards from the discard and attach them however you want. That is amazing. That's really the only reason why you're playing this guy. He was the MVP for a couple of matches where I was able to use the discarded energy and put it around, and I had a couple of outs no matter what my opponent was going to do. And again, this is even more effective because you start out the game so aggressively. And if they do knock out that Ho-Oh that's already charged up, then you're absolutely fine with that, because with 1 energy, you're getting Turtonator ready to go. And you could either charge up the Turtonator, Tapu Lele, Silvally. You have so many combos that losing 1 Ho-Oh up front isn't really that big of a deal. Another card, we actually teched in Volcanion. Again, as I mentioned, Volcanion is a great attacker on its own, and the mirror match against Volcanion, you're most likely going to speed up faster than them because of Kiawe. And so, even if you don't do that, that's perfectly fine. With Ho-Oh, you're hitting for 180, remember? So also a Steam Up. So as I mentioned, 180 plus a Steam Up plus Choice Band, you're KOing everything in the format pretty much. That's meta at least. So Steam Up, very relevant still. I had to play 1. And also I'm a big believer in the 7th prize attacker, in the 7 prize game. So I use Volcanion also for the ability, but also more importantly, it can take a 120 hit from either Golisopod or from Zoroark. So they typically do 120. They do not knock this out. You could either scoop it up, retreat it with Silvally. So essentially it gains you a turn if you're in a somewhat of a tough spot. And worst case scenario, they knock it out, then that's actually not too bad, because it's 1 prize, so they still have to get 6 prizes in theory. We do play an aggressive line of Sycamore. I do play 4. I saw myself needing it. That's kind of self-explanatory. Guzma, I also played a 4 line, and that's because of the gyro unit ability where you're switching out. Your opponent, if you have a Ho-Oh that's fully up, and then you have like a Lele or anything else out there and you have gyro unit, you're pretty much securing your first KO and your second KO. So it's a really great card. It makes your opponent think twice about putting 2nd or 3rd GXs out there. Those are just going to be easy fodder for your Ho-Oh. Again, which is why I like to keep the Leles for the late game. And plus, I run a heavy line of Guzma just to ensure that I'm going to get it. I only play 3N. 3N, that's self-explanatory. Also a draw engine. And also, similar to the 3 Bridget line where that's an aggressive line, I actually play 3 Kiawe. Kiawe is very important to this deck. If you get a turn 1, it's really hard for your opponent to come back from that, because that's such a fast start. Acerola, I play 1 of, just because it was able to help me out a couple of times. and you know I had something up in the front taking a beating, and then I scooped it right back up, essentially, you know, negating a prize. I play the standard for Ultra Ball. That's self-explanatory. You need to get your Pokemon. And I actually played 3 fighting memory. I played 3 of these as opposed to a 2-1 or a, you know, for the other psychic one, just because I was going after Zoroark and Golisopod. I played 2 Field Blower, which was relevant in the Buzzwole deck matchup. I had to shut down Garbodor, and it did help. I play 1 switch again for the Guzma. You know, if I don't have the Silvally, I can also switch back out. This is way better than a Floatstone that can be field blowed off of you. So that kind of sucked. So I opted to play switch. I play 3 Choice Band. The 3 Choice Band are really only for Ho-Oh. And in some situations, if you can get the KO, you can put it on these other guys too. My engine to speed up the game is actually Scorched Earth. This is something that a lot of people were kind of picking up and reading. They're like, oh, I forgot that this card was even in the format. So this card was really good as well. It really helped me out. It lets you discard your energies and then get them right back. There was a lot of times where I would just discard, and get everything back with Turtonator if I didn't get the turn 1 Kiawe. It was beautiful. It works perfectly with not only Volcanion Baby, but also with Silvally and also with the Steam Up. So you have a lot of outs. It's perfect. I love it. Really quickly here, I run 11 Fire Energies, and I also run 4 DCEs. The DCEs are mainly for Silvally. There was a couple of times where I actually used Ho-Oh's first attack, which is Sacred Fire. You can do 50 to anything, and so I actually did 50 on a Trubbish, which actually became relevant in the game later on when it evolved into the Garbodor. I was able to hit it because it only has HP of 100, so that definitely helped. The opponent had Buzzwole up front, so the damage that it was hitting for wasn't really even relevant. So I attacked his Garbodor, and I was able to knock it out. Turning back on my abilities, which came clutch. So this is the deck. I hope you guys like it. There was a couple of wins. The first match was pretty forgettable. It was an Executor, a Alolan Executor. It was kind of a mess. The second one was a who was it? It was Drampagarb, and then it was Volcanion. And then it was what else? And then the last one was Buzzwole. So really good matchups. I went 4-0. I went undefeated. There are a couple of switches that I would do, but I have not play tested them yet. But this was the deck, Silvally Ho-Oh. I think you'll catch some people off guard. Best of luck to you guys, and next time.